Hello and thanks for staying with us. Nigerian Customs Service has continued to dialogue with Benin Republic Customs officials. Also on customs report, the top freight forwarder commended Mr. President for the appointment of the CG of Nigerian Customs Service. Plus, more reports. I am Igiseme Idie. Stay tuned. The Nigerian Customs and Benin Republic Customs have been speaking on how to address the multiple taxes on transit cargoes along the ECOWAS corridor. The acting Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service was welcomed into Benin Republic by a guard of honor mounted by men of the Nigerian Customs Service.
They also agreed to harmonize the import prohibition policy to ensure that whatever was banned in Nigeria would also be banned in Benin. The acting Comptroller General of Customs said this during a working visit to Cotonou, and some decisions were reached between the two countries. The Comptroller General visited Webfontaine, Port of Cotonou, Ministry of Economy and Finance, and held a meeting with top stakeholders in the industry.
In Brussels at the World Customs Organization Conference, where my appointment was made. And one of the first people that came to me to congratulate me was the DG of Customs. And in his congratulatory message to me right there, he expressed willingness that we will be working together in the months ahead. And I told him, yes, we will be working together. And in the early days of my administration, I would want to pay a visit to your customs administration to demonstrate the fact that we want to renew friendship, we want to deepen the collaboration that is existing between us, and we want to find innovative solutions to the problems ahead of us. The two presidents, President Talon and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have shown the way, and that is the fact that priority would be given to relationship between us, economic relationship, trade, bilateral trade, and more importantly, the issue of border security along our common frontiers. We will be working together to achieve this mandate. But there's nothing we can do without you, our esteemed stakeholders. And this is why we have found it necessary that as we go along, as we engage with ourselves, as we reach understandings and agreements, we also want to carry you along, because you are those who are going to be implementing. You are those who are going to benefit from these agreements when we work together. So I think we will have more opportunities to talk with ourselves. It is a better strategy for us to do more listening to you, our stakeholders, since we still have enough time to engage with ourselves as customs to customs. So it's therefore, once again, my sincere gratitude on behalf of my delegation to my brother, the DG, for the wonderful organization that they have put in place, bringing all these stakeholders in this platform together to welcome us and to participate in this interactive session.
He spoke about the removal of barriers and other obstacles to legitimate trade and the establishment of custom units. Adeniyi pointed out that the two countries agreed to strengthen the fight against cross-border crime through cooperation, intelligence sharing, and the pooling of resources. He said that Nigeria and Benin Republic will be holding meetings twice a year to discuss matters of common interest.
The objective of the visit was for us to renew friendship with the Customs Administration of Benin, and also to deepen collaborations in areas of common interest. And this visit has afforded me to see up close some of the progress that has been made by the Customs Administration under the guidance of President Talon, whose objective seems to be the fact that the economy of Benin must be very, very competitive. I saw the attention that was given to the port of Cotonou, and I saw the progress that has been made in terms of reducing clearance time, in terms of ensuring that there was no congestion in the port, and more importantly, using technology to drive operations of the customs administrations. We saw the plan for future expansion of the port to even handle bigger cargo and contribute more to the prosperity of Benin. Along the line, we also saw how effectively tech solution is being used, integrated into the operation of the Customs Administration of Benin Republic. We saw the deployment of scanning machines, and of course, we also saw the very smart use of technology to target and track cargoes that are on transit. Well, it will appear that there is some parallel between this approach to ensure the competitiveness of the Beninois economy and the approach of, as championed by President Talon, and the approach of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when we see the Presidential Advisory Council document, which has stated clearly, the roadmap for repositioning Nigerian economy, ensuring its competitiveness, addressing port reform, and specifically talking about the fact that we needed to collaborate with neighboring countries and giving priorities to Benin Republic. So these are all the things that I've seen, and there is a lot of a learning curve for us. We have seen areas where we need to take dressing and adopt some of the solutions which we saw here, which are actually, which I must say, they are working for them. And these are areas where we would like to have some future discussions and collaborations with them to see how we can apply them to our situation.
At the Nigerian Embassy in Benin Republic, Comptroller General told the Nigerian Ambassador to Benin Republic, Olukayode Aluko, that a second look will be taken at the border agreement. The Nigerian ambassador urged the customs to use his good office to improve on the situations on ground and checkmate illegal checkpoints along the route.
Once you go into the Nigerian environment, it looks like you are into a war zone. I'm talking, I hope we're all Nigerians. And we should be open to ourselves. I'm not blaming anybody. We are all guilty.
Yeah, they can be, we'll manage it.
So, I have had meetings with my colleagues, ambassadors. I'll give you one example. The EU ambassador invited me and my spouse and some other ambassadors from the US, Germany, Japan, Morocco, about 8 of us, and South Africa. And the South African ambassador said, Ambassador, I want to go to Lagos.
At the end of the visit, Assistant Comptroller General Alpha read an agreement between Nigeria and Benin Republic.
Under the authority of the Director General, Mr. Allen Hincati, Beninese Customs extended a warm welcome to their guests. After the military honors, the two Directors General had a tete-a-tete during which they paid a tribute to the leadership of their Excellencies, Presidents Patrice Talon and Bola Tinubu, who inspired them and showed them the way through the many meetings they had had in such a short time. The two delegations visited customs partners, Webfountain and Benin Control. Exhaustive presentations were made on the reforms, followed by fruitful exchanges to the satisfaction of all parties. The visit to the customs facilities at Port of Cotonou and the working session of the Director General of Autonomous Port were a key moment of the visit. The port development project and the new port information system were presented. The two Directors General co-chaired a meeting with the economic operators and authorized customs brokers. During this, their concerns were identified and effectively taken into account during the technical meetings between the two customs administrations. Finally, the Senior Minister in charge of the Economy and Finance, Mr. Raymond Wadani, honored the Nigerian delegation by personally chairing the summary session. He transmitted the message of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Patrice Talon, expressing the desire of the two heads of state to initiate a new turning point marked by close collaboration in all areas. It is within this framework that all the diligence envisaged by the respective customs administrations with a view to the fluidity of the transit operations, the facilitation of trade, the harmonization of procedure, the encouragement of trade between economic operators and fight against customs fraud fall within. The two delegations undertake to spare no effort to implement the guidelines set by the authorities of the two countries and the improvement measures adopted, namely the continuation of efforts to promote the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme and the facilitation of the movement of goods and community products in particular, facilitation of issue of laissez-passer for a short stay in one of the countries of means of transport registered in the other country, the removal of barriers and other obstacles to legitimate trade, and the establishment of customs units when the traffic justifies it, strict compliance with transit rules, harmonization of the list of products prohibited by the two countries, the rapid integration of Nigeria into the interconnected system of the management of goods in transit, SIGMAT, which already includes the customs administration of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. Strengthening the fight against cross-border crime through cooperation, intelligence sharing, and the pooling of resources. Holding meetings twice a year to discuss matters of common interest. The reactivation of Joint Committee for Monitoring Trade and Transit Relations. The revival of consultation frameworks of border customs units with the active participation of the private sector. Promoting good relations with neighbors, with border populations, professionalism and tax compliance, securing the international supply chain. At the end of this working visit, the Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Mr. Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, expressed his thanks to his counterpart from Benin, to the Senior Minister in charge of the Economy and Finance, Mr. Raymond Wadani, to the government of His Excellency President Patrice Talon, and to the people of Benin for the warm welcome and friendliness which he and his delegation received during his stay in Benin. The Comptroller General invited the Director General of Benin Customs, Mr. Allen Hincati, to make an official working visit to Nigeria to follow up on the conclusions. Mr. Allen Hincati accepted this invitation with pleasure, and the dates of which will be agreed later. Done in Cotonou, July 24, 2023. Law Director General du Douanes du Benin, Allen Hincati, Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeni.
The Comptroller General has this to say.
We saw the attempts which Benin Customs has done towards trade facilitation, and this is something that Nigeria Customs Service would also be doing, particularly to look at where we can use our processes to reduce the costs and the time of doing business. In the course of these visits, we had the opportunity to engage with stakeholders from both sides, clearing agents, transporters, transitors, and all of that. And we listened to their concern. We listened to some of those things that they have expressed, the issue of levies and administrative charges borne by Nigeria importers and those who transit goods. And we also talked about the fact that on the Nigerian side, we needed to address the issue of multiplicity of proliferation of checkpoints, along the Lagos corridors, and so many other issues. Like we said, we really don't have answers to all the questions asked of us today, but we gave assurance that working together, we will be able to take on some of these issues as they come. The issue of checkpoints, for instance, we've taken a significant step in the reductions of these checkpoints even before my visit at the level of the customs. We're already addressing that. At the level of all the other agencies, I will be engaging with the National Security Advisor on my return so that we can bring all the security agencies to the table and see if we can forge a common approach to the issue of reduction of the checkpoints. Regarding the issue of administrative levies, I also got very concrete assurance that we are going to put these issues on the table during our next meetings, which tentatively we are going to do early September. And we believe that with the momentum that we have seen in Cotonou, both at national and bilateral level, these are all issues that we are going to discuss, and we are going to have very concrete results.
You are watching the program, Customs Report. The President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been commended by the acting national president of ANACA, the biggest umbrella body of agents in Nigeria, for appointing a custom officer to pilot the affairs of the customs in Nigeria. He said that the newly appointed CG of Customs is a well-known seasoned officer by all men of the Nigerian Customs Service. He speaks more on the attributes of the CG of Nigerian Customs Service.
Appointment of a CGC of Customs, the new CGC of Customs, particularly giving it to a proper officer in line with the amended SEMA, is a round peg in a round hole. I have known the acting CGC in the last 20-something years, and he has added value to the system. And this is somebody who has gone through a lot of local and international training. Talking about trade facilitation, he knows what it means. So I am delighted that he's the one that has been appointed as the CGC of Customs, because I know that very soon everything will be turned around for good. The first thing I will tell him is what he has actually embarked on. Nobody has told him that. That will tell you somebody who knows the job. That is sensitization and familiarization, which he's doing right away. Let him familiarize himself with all the commands under his control and go around the country so that he will know what has actually happened in the last 8 years, how bad the system has been compared to when he was in National Public Officer of the Service. And I also said he should make himself accessible, and he should be the CG of all. And above all, he needs to preach more on facilitation of trade. And also look at the various units of Nigerian Customs Service vis-a-vis the fact that some of the units, or many of the units, want to encroach on the job of valuation, so that everybody should do his work according to what is spelled out in his unit. These are my advice for him. And I know that if he does that, it will go a long way in bringing back the confidence to the trading community, the stakeholders, and we, the custom brokers. While going around, he met the stakeholders at Papa Command, where he spoke to us and assured us that going forward, his doors are open and he's going to actually collaborate with stakeholders. The issue of collaboration is a keyword in line with WCO 2013 yearbook that say every customs administration must collaborate with their stakeholders, particularly the critical stakeholders, that is licensed customs agents.
The commandant of the Nigerian Customs College, Ikeja, has taken cadets of the college to Apapa Customs Command to formally know more about the workings of the Nigerian Customs Service. The commandant of Customs College, Ikeja, and his cadets paid a walking visit to Apapa Customs Command in Nigeria. The cadets were welcomed to the command by the area controller in charge of Apapa Customs Command, who took them around the system as he works at the port.
The effort of the commandant and his management, instructors, for these new innovations, whereby cadets are being exposed to the field before the completion of their training. I think this is the first time our basic cadets from the training college are visiting us at our various commands, and I'm happy they are able to come down to Apapa Port to see how our operations and activities are being carried out, so that by the time they will complete their training, maybe in the next 2 months, they will have an idea of what they are coming to meet as they are joining us in the field. We will try as much as possible to expose them to the practical aspect of what they are learning theoretically. They will also go into the terminals to see how we conduct our operations in terms of physical examination, and we'll also expose them to see how containers or cargoes are being scanned with the scanning machine. Standard operating procedure. We are now operating in accordance with the international practice, and I'm assuring you, at the end of their training, when they come to join us, we are going to have a fully refined officers who have been fully trained and already they are exposed to the system or our ways of operation outside the training college. You have seen the cadets. You can see how well dressed and smart they are. You can see the level of discipline in them. So today's outing definitely is an excellent one. And by the time they will complete their tour of the port, they will return back to their college much more informed, and they will relate what they've been taught at the college to what is obtainable in reality when you come out to the field.
The commandant of this college and one of the DCs in charge of scanning unit has this to say.
I will begin by appreciating the Controller General of Customs and the management for giving us this opportunity to exercise what we've known how to do best by adding knowledge to our cadets. This study tour is part of the college curriculum in line with the Controller General of Customs vision as it relates to international best practice. Now, they haven't received the theoretical aspects back at the Custom Training College. The college deemed it fit to bring out these cadets to see the practical operational aspect of customs operations. For the past 5 hours or thereabout, we've been moving through various sections of the Premier Seaport, which is the Apapa Command. We've visited the valuation unit, the Custom Processing Center unit, and the revenue aspect of the command also, the cadets were exposed to. Now we are at the non-intrusive inspection technology unit of the command, and I can tell you that the morale of the cadets it's very, very high, considering the delivery, particularly the sectional heads that we visited. At the moment, the cadet just left the non-intrusive inspection technology site. The DC in charge of that unit actually delivered a well-packaged lessons to the cadets. It's someone that I personally interfaced with some years back. He's an astute. He is a technocrat, and I'm satisfied with what we have seen so far at the command.
Shows that they are really intelligent, because I asked them 2 questions which they really got it, and this is their first time of being on the scanning site. So it shows that the cadre officers that customs has employed, the employment process was a very nice one, because they are very brilliant students. I'm satisfied. Employment process, because you can see that these officers that are here, they are sharp, they are intelligent, and I was taking them around, thinking that they would not even know the questions, but immediately I asked them, they gave me very good answers, and I'm very, very impressed.
The cadets visited almost all the custom operational areas under the supervision of Customs in Upper Customs Command. Just before I round up this week's edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where the Acting Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service made a working visit to Benin Republic. From me, Egeseme Engineer. Thanks for watching.